do the same model as the Postmates and stuff like that. Explain how that works so that everyone understands the difference. And also, is Waiter here in Florida?
No, Waiter's not here in Florida.
Okay.
Well, they are actually in the top of the Panhandle, Destin area.
Okay.
But we work off commission. We have one flat rate for all of the restaurant partners. It's 25%. And you know, our argument on the pricing, and I realize this might be a tough crowd. I'm the one up here, but like, you know, I came from the restaurant industry, and so I would love to talk to anybody about the profitability, because I feel very strongly in my case. That's obviously why I'm up here. But you know, the reality is, if I'm sending a restaurant an extra 10 orders a day, right? You got to make the food, so that cost doesn't go away. That 30% stays there, right? But my question to anybody in the audience, if I send you an extra 10 orders a day, you already have a manager on your staff. Are you going to have to bring in an extra manager to fulfill 10 orders? I would say no. You already have them. And if I send you 10 orders a day, you already have your culinary team, you already have your front of house staff. With 10 extra orders a day, do you need any additional staff? I would say no, right? You already have your overhead. You already have your equipment and you know your rent and your insurance payments. If I send you no orders, those are still there. So the flow through on the orders that we send, you've got your food cost at 30% plus our 25% commission, and that's why it works. You know, that's why this is the fastest growing segment in the restaurant industry. You know, the reality is, and this, like, I don't mean to come across too strong here, but the reality is, we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't a good deal for the restaurant operators. And when I was in operations in the restaurant industry, I tried doing delivery in every concept that I was in, because I was just top line mind sales guy. And the fact of the matter is, we can do it cheaper than you can. That's it.
Well, Scott, by the way, you're not the enemy in the room.
Yeah, well, no, that's what I mean, but I
welcome
this discussion.
No, truly. Because, I mean, this is if you're here tonight, I had a panel delivery once where I had a tech guy in the panel who said absolutely the third-party delivery companies have a right to that customer, and they're spending millions of dollars getting that customer, so they earned it. And see, there's a marketing sense. But, you know, Alex, you've got a lot of positions on this, or views, so share that a little bit, and we'll let
Yeah, I just wanted to add a point to what Scott just mentioned. If you're already running a brick and mortar restaurant, the lights are on, the staff's there, the rent is fixed typically, and so you really have to understand that the idea of incrementality, and there's a lot of data that supports that the orders that are being placed on these third-party apps are about 85% incremental revenue. What that means is that very few of those orders that are happening on DoorDash on Waiter are actually people who are going to come to your restaurant already. You're barely eating from your own customer base, and you're really adding.
So you're saying the cannibalization is low?
Yeah, the cannibalization is low. And the other thing that people aren't thinking about with delivery is that when somebody orders online, it means they're not taking up a spot in the parking lot, they're not taking up time with the waiter, there's no dishes to clean, there's no refills on drinks. There are additional cost savings that come when when food is going out the door. It's not really talked about.
And so, because these are questions, trust me, like I'm in sales, I deal with this all day long, okay? So, you know, when I talk to the restaurateur, because that's obviously a huge concern of ours, like, are you stealing my customers? And my response is, look, just put yourself in that position of that delivery person, or you as the customer, right? So you're hungry, whether you don't want to go out because it's raining, or you just got home, or for whatever reason, you've made the conscious decision, somebody's bringing me food, right? And that's where I say, we don't steal your customers. The fact of the matter is, if you're not on that third-party delivery site, you're just missing out on it. That's the reality. They've already made the decision, and so if you're not on my site, or DoorDash's, or Grubhub's, or whoever else, you're just missing that sale.
All right, Craig and then Marty.
There are metrics too that say about half of the people who start their customer journey for food on the delivery apps start by looking for a cuisine type without a specific brand in mind, and about half of them do start looking for a specific brand. But for the half that start looking for a specific brand, they all want convenience, and so if that person is 3 miles away looking for your brand, it's far more likely that they need it delivered to them. They're not going to come in and see you. So there's a lot of data that is kind of indicating what Alex was saying, is that most of the orders, not all, but most are incremental. And if you already have the kind of sunk costs of running your business anyway, you're open with that hour, your staff is your staff. You can think of it that way when you figure out whether each sale is profitable to you or not.
That's great, Mark.
Sure, so I think I'm gonna weigh in on both sides of this. Ultimately, we're a pretty neutral party in this equation. So one, I want to reinforce what you said about the hotel and OTA analogy. If you want to self-educate on this, this is a great thing to go look at. Because what happened there happened 15 years ago, and it's literally playing out verbatim in this space now, when the online travel agents came into the hotel space. This is kind of arrival of a new indirect sales channel that no one was expecting. So to Scott's point about not taking your customer, that's true most of the time. It's also not true if you go and you Google PF Chang's delivery and the first thing that comes up is a DoorDash ad. And that is happening. We did a study of all of our customer brands and basically measured brand name together with the word delivery, where does the brand itself show up in the search result, including the ads that flow. And the number is 5. You come in about 5th place on average.
The brand.
The brand. So there's 4 people either outspending you or out-optimizing you. Right? So in that case, that is a scalp of a customer, right? The search wasn't Chinese food delivery. The search was PF Chang's. In that case, it's PF Chang's obligation to be better at digital and to put themselves higher on that map. I just want to add one other thing. The other thing that Scott said about consumers and starting with a cuisine type, that's also true. We've seen and we've done direct comparisons of the aggregators in some of our customers. The aggregators have what they say they have. They have consumers who are loyal to those aggregation platforms, so they begin their food journey with BiteSquad. They're not going to go to Google first. They're going to say, I'm hungry, maybe I want a burrito today, maybe I want ramen tomorrow, and I'm going to select something available on that marketplace, and I'm going to purchase from it. That's why restaurants should work with those channels. And the expense, we don't weigh in on any of that. We're not a party to it, but there's a few dimensions to it.
So I'm going to put it on pause. I'm going to go to Scott. So what you're seeing right now is exactly why this panel is so valuable to you, because they're giving you these different points of view. There's no right or wrong answers. We are still in the midst of this disruptive model that's going to change dramatically. Where it ends up, God only knows, right? It's not easy. Stay tuned. 6 months from now, there'll be a different conversation point. But for you right now as operators, it's a point in time to make note of what do I take advantage of? What are my approaches? What can I try and do? I think what you're doing at Waiter is fantastic, because now they're going to guarantee a great guest experience for your brand because they're employees. They're trained properly for what they're trying to do. They're uniform, there's standards and stuff like that. It's not just some guy on the street on a bicycle. That's a critical thing. And over to Marty, who's trying to be, Switzerland for over 350 companies, very successful. It's probably more like Russia. It's just gigantic, right? It's not small, but it's neutral, and it's working out that way. So this is the dialogue that you should be exploring and understanding. So I'm gonna let you go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, so good points. And some things that I would throw out. So realize where we see ourselves as well as we're your outside marketing arm. Once again, back to the restaurant days, there was many days that I wanted to get out there and pound the pavement and grow my business, but somebody called in sick or I had to do a prep list or whatever, and it kept me from going out there and growing my business, okay? And that's where these companies, like the third-party deliveries, we are marketing experts, and so we can get out there and do some of the stuff that you guys can't. And here's the reality. So you are true when, we're gonna market your business, and so you might be 5th on the list, when it comes to your site, but guess what? That means I marketed your spot, DoorDash marketed your spot, Grubhub marketed your spot, Postmates marketed your spot. You just had 4 of the companies out there marketing your restaurant, right? That's a good thing. And here's the deal, once again, put yourself back in that consumer perspective, okay? So if I'm going to try to find PF Chang's website, because I wanna know where they're located, or their hours of operation, so if I click on the first one and it's delivery, guess what, it doesn't have that information. So what am I gonna do as a consumer? I'm gonna go down to the next one, because you still need to find that information. So I would say the fact that you have multiple people out there marketing your business is not a bad thing.
Right, I'm gonna shift it a little bit, I wanna go to a different topic. How many of you have higher prices at delivery than you do inside the restaurant? Okay, good, and that's hopefully a bigger practice. Alex, if you'd like to talk about this a little bit. So give us your insight in terms of pricing strategies for delivery versus in-house.
Yeah, I'll just share that, kind of segueing from the previous conversation, I think that it is unrealistic to expect that you as a restaurant brand can outspend these third-party platforms that are raising hundreds of millions of dollars from VCs, and it's hard to change consumer behavior. And we can sit here and complain about the way that Google works, by putting these other companies ahead of you, but that's the reality of what's happening today. And the fact is people are going to open these apps and order from you. And recently, a lot of these online ordering platforms have become a lot more flexible to allow you to inflate your prices by 10%, 15%, to make up for that 30% take rate that they're asking for, to allow restaurants to do it in a way that's profitable. And to these online ordering platforms, the Uber Eats of the world, that's just extra money that they get to keep 30% on. So at first they were very resistant, saying that the prices had to match one for one, but now they're becoming more accommodating and saying you can actually charge $11 instead of $10 for your burrito if it's on DoorDash, to make up for that difference.
And that's really critical to understand, because this is how it's gonna flesh out. Essentially, the customers are willing to pay for convenience sake. It's all about time, right? You know, you're working a full-time job, you got, dual income family, so forth and so on. You wanna have restaurant quality food, and the convenience of it. And the nice thing about it too is that I've been at friends' house where 3 restaurants have been ordered from, because everyone's got a different desire for what they want to have. So it's like everyone wins in that aspect of it. But I think charging the menu engineering, charging more due to menu engineering, and also the type of food you offer. You don't have to have just the same exact food and expect it to look the same way in someone's home. You can design it for packaging to go. Just like in restaurants now, designers are designing Instagram moments inside restaurants. You've got to design your food to travel in packaging that is going to show up at a very restaurant quality level for that kind of transport that you're going to go through. Craig, in your model, how are you adjusting for some of the realities of this evolving segment?
Well, one of the selling points that we use for Kitchen United facility to the consumer is that if you have a family that all wants different cuisines, you can just order from Kitchen United. You can order from the different restaurants on one order. And we're actually debuting a version 2 of our tech stack, which will enable someone to order from multiple restaurants on one order. And to restaurants, it could mean that people who work nearby, they don't have to not choose your restaurant because someone doesn't want your cuisine that day. So there are a lot of interesting things that will unfold, and I think it's part of this whole model is unfolding for all of us. So it'll be really interesting to see how that is solved. I did want to say with the advertising, you should never be in a position where you are not ranking number 1 and your knowledge panel, your Google My Business page is not appearing for your brand search. I think that if that's happening to you, that there's optimization that you can do that isn't very difficult. And I agree that if the paid slots are being taken by someone else, that is free advertising for you. So I think if you can figure out how to make your off-premise orders positive margin, then it's just win, 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 win on the Google result page for you.
Yeah, so we've solved some critical problems here. You're not trying to give a view that third-party delivery is also potential marketing for you. You can bring new customers. You can charge more to offset the commission takeaway, even though they're going along for the ride. They're going to get 25–30% of every incremental dollar, but at least you're getting more marginal dollars into your bank account. You have the opportunity of Waiter to have professionally trained drivers who are employees, not 1099 gig employees, that can present your product very, very well. You solve pallet health through these two guys, and we're going to integrate it into a POS system. Maybe not necessarily the one you have, because everyone's going to have some different ones that do or not. But these are the solutions that are become available to you. The biggest thing to realize is that this delivery channel is growing exponentially. It's double-digit growth. The restaurant industry has not seen double-digit growth as an industry in any one sales category in decades. The fact that it is now 15 to 20% growth in the industry is overall is incredible. I have a client in California that went from 0 delivery to 25% of sales, incremental sales and delivery in 4 weeks. I mean, it was unbelievable. But keep in mind, do not, and I'll ask the audience, I'm not a believer in exclusivity, depending on how many restaurants you have. I think you should open it up, because in every market, someone else is stronger. Uber's not stronger everywhere. Postmates is strong everywhere. If you're a regional or national brand, you already know this. So you gotta go with your best shot. And Alex, you started with how many delivery companies?
Originally 1, but 14.
14, I mean, so there you go. So that, that's the kind of thing that is going on. So that makes it crazy. So I think the silver bullet here is that delivery is not evil. It's here to stay. It's one of the biggest opportunities we've seen in the industry for real growth. Get on the bus or stay off the bus, but it's leaving without you. It's going to be something that's there. But I would like to offer the audience an opportunity to ask questions of these fine folks. So
I'm just curious if there's any loyalty programs tied to the delivery side.
okay, the question is, are there any loyalty programs tied to any of this?
Well, I mean, I won't speak for the marketplaces. I do think some of the marketplaces are beginning to offer their own loyalty platforms. No differently, by the way, than the online travel agents have done. So you can get Expedia loyalty points when you go through that. There's nothing that prohibits you from delivery orders participating in the same loyalty platform or same loyalty program you have today if you're offering delivery directly to your consumers through your sites and apps. I mean, it's just another handoff type, really. So, to the extent you have a loyalty program and that's integrated with your e-commerce experience, delivery is...
But you can do what hotels are doing with it. If you order certain ways, you may not, or you may. It depends on what your strategy is going to be. Any other questions in the audience? Yes, sir.
Fred, the panel description talked about who owns the data.
The third-party delivery companies own the data. Now, the recent deal was now that Shake Shack negotiated a deal where they're going to have access to the data. Alex, you provide some data, right?
You can have access to that data and look at cross-platform sales reports, what time of day orders are flowing in, so you can make informed decisions about how to properly staff. But ultimately, you don't own that customer. As a restaurant, you have access to that information, and oftentimes it's very limited what customer level information. Usually it's anonymized phone numbers, it's first initial to last name instead of the whole last name. But I think what's the more important question is not who owns the data. It's really, I challenge restaurant owners to do something with that data. It's something that so many restaurant owners talk about, is who owns the data, but ultimately, if they're driving the orders, does it really matter who owns the data? If they're generating, for my family's business, $3 million a year in revenue, we don't need to know the customer.
Yeah, it was interesting about what you said, and I'm letting Marty comment next, is how many of you use Open Table? A few. So Open Table, for years, has allowed you to send emails directly to your customers, because you get emails as an option to use a reservation. So I was on the board of Fishbowl Marketing years ago, and I went to do a deal with Open Table because 99% of their restaurants never send an email to their customers. It was just, they had the data, they just chose not to use it, so Fishbowl enabled them to start doing that. And that's what it is. So everyone gets mad about the data, but what are you going to do with it? It becomes a real issue. I think that Alex is right. Martin, what's your thought?
Yeah, I think this topic has become a little bit of a red herring. So this was the thing that people were running around objecting to. It is the marketplace's customer. Just to be perfectly clear, when you go and purchase food from any restaurant, from Uber Eats is the merchant of record, right? But within our customer base, which kind of runs at the the higher end of the enterprise brands, we've seen not only Shake Shack, but who've spoken about it publicly now, but I'm aware of several, if not many others, who have negotiated access to the customer data. And my takeaway is this, that they're getting it granted to them, first of all, because they have leverage in who they are. But it's a dare. Like, what are you going to do with it better than Uber Eats can do with it, right? And
Just a follow-up to that question and that thought, you own the data, you own the experience when something goes wrong. They don't.
No, you don't own the experience,
Well-
but you'll take the fall if it's not good. That's the situation, that's what you have to be prepared for. So we see operators, if you can sort of make that package bulletproof as much as possible, really understand it. I mean, Alex, you shared the story that you drove around with with deliveries in your car, right? What was it? Give me that story.
Yeah, when I first started with delivery, I realized that the experience in the restaurant was going to be different than the delivered experience. So I actually would take 10 to 20 items at a time and drive around in my car for 3 miles and open it up and see what it looks like and check the temperature. And I learned a lot through that process. Like, eggs don't hold up well at all. They turn green if they're not wrapped in the right container. And so we had to adjust and edit our menu and remove items that didn't work and find different packaging solutions, soup containers that didn't spill, coffee containers for iced coffee. Be very hands-on with your delivery experience, and don't assume that because something tastes good when it leaves, it means that it's going to end up tasting great when it arrives. And there is obviously a little bit of an expectation that delivery food isn't going to taste as good as the in-store experience, but you should be aware that you have the ability to edit your menu and tailor it down to things that you know will hold up well. And that includes, taking chili cheese fries and serving the chili and the cheese in a separate container, so it doesn't arrive a giant sloppy cold mess. and definitely experiment with that.
Yeah, and keep in mind that delivery is not takeout. See, because when a customer walks in and grabs their food to go home, they're gonna take care of it, all that stuff, eat fries on the way home, right? That's a very different type of transport experience than having a third party do it. And I think Alex is right, hands-on, really understand what's my food gonna go through, and if you address all those issues, you will have a much better outcome than if you don't think about it at all. This is not takeout version 2.0. Yes, the last question.
I'm curious on Scott's thoughts about that report that just came out about 30% of drivers trying for food.
Yeah.
On the way to your house.
It's shocking. I mean, under no certain terms. And I was gonna actually kind of comment on this a little bit anyway. So, on the question on the loyalty program, so just, like BiteSquad, we do have a loyalty program, and then we're in the process of, we have Landry's, and so we're in the process of putting a system together where we're gonna be recognizing their loyalty points as something that we're doing to try to get the loyalty going. So that's what's in the works. But specific on the drivers, and I gotta be careful because I don't wanna be a commercial. I'm just trying to take this as just education, if you will. And I can say this also because I had my own delivery company. So when I had my own delivery company, I had 1099 drivers, okay? And that was a nightmare, okay, under no uncertain terms. Because as this industry is evolving, everybody's getting smarter, as I mentioned that before. Drivers are getting smarter, restaurants are getting smarter, consumers are getting smarter, everybody's getting smarter. And with the drivers, where this has evolved, an example I give you is we have Uber and Lyft, right? And if you've ever taken an Uber, you know that they work for Lyft at the same time, right? But you never have 2 passengers in the car at the same time, right? That's different in restaurant delivery world, okay? And you could probably speak to this as well. So the drivers that are working for the Uber and the Grubhub and the DoorDash, they work for all those companies at the same time, just so y'all know, right? And they pick up food for all of those companies at the same time, just so y'all know. And they determine when they're gonna deliver it. So that's something that I would be very aware of, when you're, as a restaurant, and as you're trying to protect your brand, when you see a person showing up and you're with Postmates and Grubhub and DoorDash, and you've got an order for Postmates, and you have a guy showing up in a DoorDash shirt, guess what? He's moonlighting. And so that's where we're very blessed that we, our drivers are employees, and so, we have standards in place. We screen all of our drivers, we train all of our drivers, we have customer service standards, we follow up with market managers that do check in and check out, things with these guys. So, Still people, but I feel very good about the service that we provide.
So we're running over, so we're gonna end this, but here's what I'm gonna do. If you give me your business card, I'll send you a link to a couple of delivery webinars that we've done to give you more information. Please join me in giving a round of applause.